Hey, we're live.
All right.
Take
See if
25.
this is worth the price we paid.
Hey,
Hey everyone, Chris Palmar is here. I have also with me, I have Matt Gentry and Janek Bringle. We're coming at you live, hopefully for the third time. They say, you know, third time's a charm, so hopefully that's the case in this. We have great content for you. We're going to be chatting about the GP18, the SD60M. Jan's going to show a few things that he's been reviewing that are going to be coming into stores here pretty soon and definitely into your hands. Then we're also, stick around, we'll be chatting about some of our personal projects that we got that are on the Workbench and then taking your questions. So let's get right into this, Janek. I'm going to pull up my GP18 screen for you and we can start chatting about the first topic of the day here.
I'm well versed in it now, so.
So here we go.
For those of you who were with us last time, I'm sorry this will be review, but we recently announced the Genesis GP18s, which is the third member of our early Jeep family, which so far has been the GP7 and the GP9. The GP18 was an upgraded version of the GP9 built by EMD, and it was ordered in quantity by several Class 1 railroads. We're offering quite a few different paint schemes and versions with this run. Here you can see a BN unit in 1989. All the BN units are actually former Northern Pacific units. This one has received an orange beacon on the roof, and they chopped off the footboards. Other than that, it's about the same as it was on the NP. So,
yeah, it looks like they removed the bell too.
Yeah,
compared to this next
one. They probably stuck it down on the underframe. Yeah. So here's
gotcha. Yeah.
Here's a photo in 1973. So this is 3 years after the merger. So this unit still has the bell on the top of the short hood. You can see that it has the P3 horn and the firecracker antenna. All the NP units have winterization hatches on them as well. And this one still has the footboards as well. So.
And the next one we were talking about is the nickel plate, I believe.
Yep, nickel plate. This one is taken 1960, so basically brand new.
Yeah, that thing's fresh.
Yeah, nickel plate was cool. They had the gyro light there on the nose, you can see, and that'll be a operating gyro light on the BCC sound version. And by the way, these are all LED lights now on them. So, and also on the nickel plate, you can see there's no dynamic brakes. And you got the bell up on there on the nose. And so we'll be replicating those features as well.
Yeah, well, it looks fantastic. I mean, for a second, I thought that was like a restored locomotive when I first saw this photo.
Yeah, for how clean that yellow paint is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Then on the other opposite end of the spectrum.
Here's the Norfolk and Western, which is in the later black scheme with the big NW on the sides. This is the scheme that we're offering for Norfolk and Western this time around. You can see the engineer's all-weather window there on the cab. So we'll be including that with our models. And yeah, just the basic black, not really much going on. It's got the yellow handrail verticals, and they got the bell up on the nose as well on this one. So
looks like the chop footboards on these too.
Yep. So we'll do that on our models.
And this one's running long hood forward.
Yeah, and I need to go check on this, but I'm pretty sure that that's how these were set up to run, is long hood forward. So we'll replicate that with our models as well on the sound version. It'll run long hood forward, which is pretty cool.
So, you know, when you have your throttle forward is running long hood forward then.
Yep.
Awesome.
So,
And then here's another Norfolk Western,
yep, there's another
962
one.
and 74.
Yep. So this one's basically hasn't had any changes done to it other than the paint scheme. So in the last broadcast we were trying to do, we were kind of talking about some of the features that these have now across the board. Like I said, they have the LED lights now. They got the rubber MU hoses on them as well. And then Matt let us know that they also come with the dual sugar cube speakers now. So that's a big boost in the sound quality that you're going to get from those. It's very noticeable.
Yeah, so those things will be super clear, and the LED lighting will just kind of like push it over the top.
Yeah, whenever we can make small refinements like that and it makes sense in the scheduling of the tooling modifications and the delivery of the product, we try to do it whenever we can now. I mean, there's been so much advancement in the way of the speakers and the lighting and that type of thing, and we can do stuff a little bit smaller now, so let's try to keep improving the product, you know.
Well, speaking of sugar cube speakers, let's jump right into the SD60Ms, Matt, and I'm going to put up some of our test shots, and we can go into a little bit more detail about that.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we're talking about in Genesis 2.0 kind of relate to sugar cube speakers, but wait, there's more. Could you tell us some more of the points on Genesis 2.0?
Yeah, one of the big features, like with this photo that you've got going up here, the SD60M with the 3-piece windshield here, the Triclops, this is all new tooling for us, and so some of the detail features we really wanted to push over the edge, and so this will be our first Genesis locomotive with the spinning roller bearing caps on the EMD HTC truck. You can get a good view of it there, and you know, I sort of said in passing, you know, I've been doing some of the testing here during the extended work from home time, and I mean, it's only a Lupicato track, but hey, it's still some proving grounds at the very least. And I mean, I've been pretty happy with them. I mean, there hasn't been any more excessive noise or anything like that. The bearings have been secured to the axle, so I'm pretty happy with them. And as they continue to fine-tune the tooling for the final mass production overseas, I think that these will continue to get better and better. So I'm pretty happy with the truck so far. And Chris, you've seen the trucks in person a little bit, and I know that you were pretty jazzed about the new HTC truck.
I look forward to putting them on all my personal stuff. So I'm really excited about them. I think just the shape and the dimensions of those HTCs, you know, it's like when you're dressing up for something really nice, you put on a suit, you do everything else, and then you put on nice shoes. And dude, these trucks are like really nice shoes on these, on just like a top end locomotive. It's so nice looking.
It completes the outfit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, some of the other Genesis 2.0 features is the etch see-through steps, as you've got in this photo here. Janek sort of mentioned the rubberized MU cables and train lines. That's something that we've done across the whole line of Athearn locomotive projects in RTR and Genesis. But it's one of those things that we had some other items that were molded in this rubberized material, and we asked our factory, hey, can you shoot the train lines and such in this same material, and they gave it a shot, and it worked out really nice. So the train lines and MU hoses now are don't break whenever you look at them, so they've become very nice, very durable. This image that you've got up here is the nose of the late phase Union Pacific cab, and I say late phase because I really haven't found any of these things nomenclatured phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, so I just say it's the late phase because it has the tapered ends of the nose, and the nose tapers down a little bit. You can sort of see there under the grabs on the corner, and that was for added crew visibility from the cab.
That kind of shows it a little bit better for you.
Yeah, there's your good profile view there.
That's the first time anyone's done this, Matt, right?
That's the first time it's been mass-produced in plastic. There have been aftermarket aftermarket cabs available in a kit that you could purchase and put on your existing SD60M prototype, but this is the first time a manufacturer has mass-produced it, pre-assembled, pre-built. Again, some of the differences on this cab here is the number boards. Of course, they're all low number boards, but this one has the rounded corners on it. I do believe that the access panels on the right side here are different from the earlier phase 60Ms. And then some of the other variations. Yeah, so we're back on the UP there with the digital fuel gauge mounted.
I'm going through trying to pull up where you're talking to.
Oh, it's making it a challenge for me. I never know where you're going to go next.
Let's see how much you really know.
Yeah, really. Keep me on my toes. But
so you were talking about the access panels under the roof there on the cab side. There's some variants there too.
Right. So these access doors underneath the cab windows on this side of the cab are specific to this phase cab as well. The sand filler hatches on this later phase cab are the traditional circular opening sand fill hatches, as compared to all the earlier phase cabs had the large square sand fill hatch like this one does here, and this is the Sioux Line Canadian Pacific variation here. And this is the CP to be exact, because it has the different style air filters right in front of the fuel tank there. And then it has the large CP style plow. What else? The
winter hatch. It has a winter hatch.
Yep, that one has the winterization hatch, and the UP does not. There's a better view of your air filters.
That's the UP version without.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up
there.
Another difference between the two.
Yeah, there's a good rear end shot of the two right there. Number boards versus no number boards. Ditch lights for the Canadian Pacific versus no ditch lights on the UP. And then look at the differences in the pilot details there, guys. Look at the MU catch trays, and then look at specifically the spare knuckle brackets. Some of our Sioux Line contacts have really good photos of the spare knuckle brackets on the rear of the SD60 locomotives that Sioux Line ordered. And so we were able to get some good detail shots and design the Sioux Line specific spare knuckle brackets. And so I'm not sure if we'll be making those available separately or not for all the existing SD60s, but it is available, and we will be able to represent it properly on the model.
That's exciting, Matt. To see this level of attention paid to just the subtle railroad details. I think a lot of the comments I've heard is just they didn't realize that there was so many differences between, the different railroads, that there were such fine details that could be observed per railroad, and we're doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of to go back to the marketing plan that we have put forward with this is, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Wish granted. I mean, I can't tell you how many different shows and events that we would go to, and people would ask, hey, have you guys thought about an SD60M with the 3-piece windshield, the Triclops? And, it wasn't high on our radar. And, of course, there's another model out there that has very good pulling capability. But the more and more we heard the request for it, and the more and more we looked at what was available versus the variations within the prototype, we sort of started raising that one eyebrow, just going, maybe it is worth pursuing. And so here it is.
Yeah, it's something that, at the time I wasn't too excited about, like the 3-piece window, because this is back in the 90s when they first came out. I was just like, man, what an ugly looking locomotive. But, you know, over the past, you know, few decades, it's like really grown on me, knowing that it didn't happen to the whole sort of ensemble of future EMD products. It was just kind of you know, kind of a curiosity at the time. Yeah, I really enjoy seeing this, because I remember when these things were brand new, and just, you know, them showing up on like Cajon and going down to Tehachapi, and even occasionally seeing them on the coastline. They were really awesome. And I think, Janek, you posted up pretty recently some photos of them working helpers in San Luis Obispo.
Yep, they did that a lot in the last few years, and they were on the Guadalupe turn. Standard power was 3 of these things. So.
But before I go on, Matt, I want to pull up a couple photos here that I think you really wanted to touch upon. Is it's more than just the side frames on these HTC trucks. We're talking a new gearbox, and it gave us an opportunity to do a few more things. Well, what do we got to? What did we end up adding onto this?
So you're right. In order to make the HTC power truck work on some of our Genesis models, and currently this is the only Genesis model, so I guess Genesis model, we cut new gear tower halves for it, and whenever we did so, we took the opportunity to add some of this detail that you're seeing here. And what you're seeing is the rear detail of the rear traction motor, and I think that's the vent side, because you can see up at the top of that photo, it's blurry, but that's okay. The top of the photo is the air duct for the traction motor blowers, and so this is the exhaust duct here, and then the other side that you can sort of see there is the gear housing for the traction motor, and right there is the hanger brackets and everything. So we've got the traction motor detail on the power trucks, and then the side frames wrap around the back of the truck and actually have the hanger detail on those, because the traction motor is actually bolted to the cast truck frame. And so we've got the gear tower details mating up with the side frame details whenever it all gets assembled, and looks like the prototype HTC gear truck. We had some very reliable information and help on this, and so we had some HTC truck information books that showed this detail pretty in depth, and so we used that to our advantage whenever we were cutting a new mold. So here we go. We're pretty excited about it, really.
Yeah, this is the reason why I want to put it on everything. Just saying.
It seems like with every release, the detail just keeps getting improved, and things that we never thought were possible, we start adding them on there. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Some of the details come up whenever I'm doing the research and talking with my engineers, and sometimes they find stuff, sometimes I find stuff, and you don't know unless you ask. And my engineers ask me, or I ask them, hey, can we do this? And we sort of talk about it, and they just go, yeah, we don't see why not. So here it is.
Well, it's exciting to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in paint. Like, you can't even believe like how much I'm looking forward to seeing these things painted up, like the Canadian Pacific over here onto your right-hand side. Looking forward to, just that red, kind of like the SD90 Max just recently. Those things just popped in red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it seemed like that color kind of brought out more of the detail.
That the finished product for the 90 Mac Phase 2s with that Canadian Pacific red were just absolutely stunning. I mean, I don't usually pursue Canadian Pacific models, but those made me change my mind, so I'm going to have to get my hands on some of those, and so I'm looking forward to seeing these Canadian Pacific 60Ms as well. And so hopefully we'll be able to get some deco samples here before the end of the month and share them with everybody, and get the hype even better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Union Pacific, once you see them painted up with that specific nose contour, the number boards illuminated, the ground lights glowing, I mean, it's going to be pretty amazing. I'm really excited about, just seeing something that I saw back when I was a junior rail fan,
And red frame stripes.
Looks like we got plenty of those coming up.
They had red stripes forever, man. It seemed like they almost never got yellow.
Yeah, and also, unfortunately for like some of the rail fans out there, the Norfolk Southern kind of started pulling the pin on the SD60Ms that they had. But, when they were running, they did just look cool. They looked like little stealth bombers or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did look really awesome in black.
It's a shame that they didn't last much longer on the Norfolk Southern than they did. I think they were only there for about, 4 or 5 years, something like that, before they were sent off the rails due to the implementation of PSR. But still, it was something pretty neat to see over on the east side of the country, because the Triclops has pretty much stayed on the west side of the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course, except for Sioux Line, but...
Well, then, we did some pretty neat stuff with the BNSF models, too. There's some differences between BN and the BNSF models, although very subtle, and it's not only just printing. Matt, you pointed that out to me before, and I was just like, did an aha moment with it. And I think it was around the ditch lights or something?
Yeah, so the difference between the BN and the BNSF, the way that we have produced the BN models is we've produced them I wouldn't say not as delivered, but very soon after delivery, because the BN models have the deck-mounted strobes on the top of the anti-climber, like that photo there in 9200. They kept the strobes for a couple of years, and all of this stuff here was to get your attention at grade crossings. The horn would sound, and then the lights would start flashing to get people's attention so that they would hopefully stop.
This is before ditch lights were standard, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the BNSF version of the SD60M that we are producing are coming with ditch lights, because this is after the FRA mandated ditch lights on locomotives. So different variations with the pilot lighting. And then also, if you find a shot of the left side, Chris, the BN units have smooth access doors. So there, see 9213, you can see where the Burlington Northern is printed is smooth. And then if you find a BNSF photo, you'll find later that they added louvers to that panel. And so the BNSF models that we are producing replicate that detail variation as well.
Trying to find a good one of the same side on the BNSF in paint.
There you go.
There's some with louvers. Yeah.
Yeah, so look under the BNSF on that forward access door, and you can see the louvers on it compared to the BN that didn't have those louvers on it. So
yeah, and we're doing two different styles. We're doing the kind of like a relettered version like these, and they'll have the yellow striping on them too. And then going into...
So the BNSF will have we have two row numbers in the green patched out, I guess you would call them. Or relettered, let's say relettered, for BNSF right there, like 9236. But then we've also done the Heritage 2 paint scheme with the cigar band on the nose for Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And then we've also done the Heritage 3 version, the wedge paint scheme as well. So we've got 3 paint schemes for the Burlington Northern Santa Fe on these things.
Yeah, it's exciting to see that. There it is. Right as I click away from it, 9206. We're doing that paint scheme as well then.
Yep.
So,
and 9206 here is before RCL service, so this does not have any of the radio equipment on it. This does not have any of the radio equipment lighting on it. This one still has the plow on it. It still has the silver underframe, as you see. But might be possible in the future to be able to do some of the 1400 RCL units. You never know what we got up our sleeve.
You never know. So also some of the neat stuff on the BN, going up to here real quick. So the RCL or not the RCL strobes, but the forward pointing strobes on the Athearn climber there, those will be illuminated with effect on our production models.
Yeah, so we have done strobes before on our existing two-piece windshield SD60M, and they are illuminated and soundtracks. The Tsunami 2 decoder actually has the capability to do the strobes at random as the strobes would have operated on these things. They're not in time like a ditch light or anything like that. They,
They're out of sync.
Yeah, they're out of sync. Thanks,
Yeah.
Janek. So, and again, they will be with LEDs, so they should look very nice.
Yeah, they'll have that real bright flash to them.
Yep.
All right, Janek, I'm going to hand it over to you, and maybe you can show us a few of the things that you've been working on and taking a look at.
Sure. Hopefully the lighting here is worth a dang, and you guys are able to see this. So as you guys know, we are working from home with the current virus situation. But that doesn't mean we're not getting work done. We're having the samples sent to our houses. So we check these samples that the factory sends us to make sure that they're doing everything that we told them to do. One of the samples I looked at recently, and don't know if there's any ITC fans in here, but this is the upcoming Illinois Terminal GP38-2. This is the first decorated sample that we've got. So we got the silver on the roof and the later Illinois Terminal green. They actually had 3 greens, I learned recently, but this is the latest Illinois Terminal green. And the cat's here to help, so pardon her, guys. Say hi. So anyway, so this is the first decorated sample here, and these are coming this year, I believe. And this is what we call a late Jeep 38-2. It's got the close radiator fans there with the corrugated grills. I'm sorry, the picture is terrible, but that's my camera. You got the Blomberg modified trucks on this one. No dynamics. You got the bell there on the side of the non-dynamic hatch. You got the angled air filter box. That's a later feature. So we got that on there. And yeah, cool ITC stuff. Also got myself a Conrail. Here is the 8090 GP38-2. So this is a, I'll call it early 1990s unit. So we got ditch lights. It's in the Conrail quality with the white frame stripe, but also this is an Operation Lifesaver unit, which is cool. There weren't too many of those. We got front and rear ditch lights on this one. Yeah, Conrail GP38-2. These things were all over the place on Conrail. They ran them in any kind of train. So looked at those, and then I got a couple things for N-scale guys too, and then I'll pass it back to the rest of you guys. Got a couple of the N-scale SD70s here. So here's an Illinois Terminal. This is I guess you'd call it Canadian National because it's got the yellow frame stripe, which we've never done before. So you got the Illinois, sorry, not Illinois Terminal. God, Illinois Central. I'm sorry, guys. Illinois Central. And then we had a little fun with this one. Now you're going to say, well, wait a minute, you know, there were no SD70s that looked like that. Well, you're right, but they had SD60s in this scheme. So we said, hey, you know, that'll look kind of cool on an N-Scale SD70. So here's the electromotive demonstrator scheme on an N-Scale SD70, and I think it looks good. So there you go. So that's what I've been working on lately, guys. And we're getting more stuff all the time. So we'll keep checking the models and we'll keep moving things forward. So I'll send it back to Chris.
Well, thank you, Janek. I really appreciate you showing some of those things that you've been reviewing, and those Illinois Central little SD70s look really cool, especially that demonstrator one. That's one of those that just should have existed, even though it didn't, you know.
Yeah, agreed.
So this is kind of like a fun segment here where we get to either talk about or share some of the projects that we got coming up now that we're kind of at home. We're all enthusiasts too. We're all, you know, leaning over a locomotive or a freight car, kind of messing around and doing a little bit of tinkering as well. So, Matt, what are you working on?
Personal model wise, well, if I can take the laptop over here, I'm kind of tethered. I'm on a laptop that has a bad battery, and then my Wi-Fi wasn't that great, so I'm on a network cable. So have to bear with me while I transfer for a minute. I have to go over to what I'm now calling New Ogden.
New Ogden, huh? Is that a classification yard?
Here we go. Because I don't know if you can see behind me here, but I've turned my workbench into Ogden with all the turbines here.
Ooh.
That's awesome, Matt. Here, let me make that a little bit bigger.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I've been working on, and I'll get over and show you what I'm trying to replicate. But here's the turbine yard and the 80 max and everything like that. And then, hey, we've all seen those, haven't we? Those are the SD60Ms there. And some ICC caboose has got some projects going on there. So let me climb back over here and show you what I'm doing with the turbines. Sorry about that. But what I'm trying to do with the turbines, I got to set the laptop down. Is, I don't know if you all can see it, but that is what I'm trying to do with the turbines right here. So I've got number 60 because we produced number 60. And then I was at the Springfield show, what was it, last year I think it was? And happened to pick up from a gentleman named Jeff Thaxton, who is building an incredible Donner Pass layout that I very hope to visit one of these days whenever he gets it completed. But I picked up this Overland C24 tender to go between the two. So I will be able to do the double turbine lash up one of these days and hopefully get a PFE block and put behind it. So that's one of the big things I'm working on. I just completed putting DCC and sound in the number 60 with Tsunami 2. And actually the way it worked out really well is, well, heck, I just broke it. But with styrene, I made this little plate that fits in the body of the turbine, and I mounted our new Genesis 21 pin LED powered motherboard to it. And then, of course, put the Tsunami 2 turbine decoder in it. And then I wired it up with LEDs everywhere. So some of our new Genesis LED bulbs, and got the LEDs in the headlights, the I guess you would call it the Mars light at the top of the headlight housing. And then the emergency red gyro light is operable with a red LED. And then I lit the number boards with some surface mount LEDs and some microscale crystal clear in the number boards. And then along with the LED bulbs, they fit in the class light locations perfectly. So there was just a perfect friction fit. So I inserted those and got some black paint and slathered on the back of it to help with light leak. And it turned out really nice. I'd go back over and show you, but I don't want to make you all sick again by climbing over my couch. So I apologize for that. I thought I was going to be able to be more mobile. So that's what I've been primarily working on. And like I mentioned, now that I got number 60 done, I need to track down another slab side turbine. And so I can gut it and renumber it to number 59, because that double turbine setup, it only lasted, I think it was about 4 months or something like that. And it was done with number 59 and number 60. And I believe number 59 was made to be the lead unit. And so I need my leader for starters, but then also I need to get the air intake extension that goes on the top half of number 60, because the rear turbine was modified, because what they found with the double turbine setup was whenever they would go through tunnels, it would suffocate the second unit. So they just did all sorts of air intake modifications. So I got a couple of detailed parts yet to go. But other than that, the first of those 2 units is complete. And then I've got to get couplers mounted to this brass Overland tender here, which I was working on doing that, and then the whole world sort of seemed to shut down. But as soon as I'm able to get the couplers mounted, I'll have 2 of the 3 pieces complete, and I just have to find the second turbine, and we'll go from there.
That looks like a cool project you got there, and I can totally relate about needing more PFE reefers behind your power.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, the Markland Trix reefer, which is actually what I had on the counter over there, that's actually a very nice car, and you can usually get them for a pretty decent price, because the couplers on them, they had those Talgo style couplers that the Europeans install on their cars, and so people don't like that here in the US, so I have been able to pick those up pretty cheap. And with a little underframe modifications, put a KD coupler box on it, and away you go. You got a good, solid, inexpensive reefer car. So
that sounds great. Hey, Janek, what do you got going on?
Well, don't put me up on my own screen here for the whole song and dance, but I did want to show you this one, Chris. You might remember it.
Oh, a tunnel motor.
Well,
that's Eric's tunnel motor.
Yes. So I dug this thing out. I've got a lot of stuff that actually has survived a couple of moves and hasn't really been unpacked. But this is a blue box tunnel motor that Chris's friend Eric did up, and it's got a lot of real cool stuff on it. He replaced the grills with the see-through grills in the back.
Yeah.
He got all the brake lines on the trucks. All the roof detail. Unfortunately, the antenna stand fell off. I got to find that somewhere. But so this is a 90s. This is a total 90s unit. It is so cool. And so I'm going to bring it back to life. I'm going to put probably Tsunami 2 in this thing and put the sugar cubes in there and get her running. So that's kind of what I'm tinkering with.
Well, we 1 turbine and 2 tunnel motors. How about that? I brought a tunnel motor too.
Oh man.
There's a little bit of a warrior story to this one here. This is a locomotive that I actually was handed off to by Joe Fugate from Mall Railroad Hobbyist. And what what happened is this thing took a pretty mad fall. It looks like it landed on the front sort of conductor side pilot. The plow's all broken, and you can kind of see that a little bit. Then also check this out. The worm gear is like completely loose from the inside. I think it broke the pin on the rear truck too. So there's going to be quite a bit of repair work to this thing. He handed me this over in Ogden over at the national show, and I was just like, you might need a little bit more than just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I was looking at the pilot, and the pilot seriously is cracked. Like, I don't know if you maybe if I could hold it up, you can. There's the step well.
Yeah, that took a hit.
Humpty Dumpty took a pretty mean dive here.
Hard
So
cuff or something, yeah.
yeah, it fell off the ridge over in Donner or something. But
Oh well,
I picked up this guy for it. I'm figuring, you know what? Let's bring it up to date. Let's put in the 21 pin. It'll have a better motor. It'll have the platform for LEDs and also the flipped around truck too. So I mean, this one already has the screens, so it'd be a matter of like getting more see-through out of it. I forgot who weathered it, but they did an amazing job weathering this thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, Joe, I haven't forgot about you. It's been like almost a year now, it seems like, since you handed it off to me. I worked slow, but I will get it done. I got the part that I needed. So look for so I might just do like a live video or something where I can just jump on and start tinkering around with this thing, trying to bring it back to life a little bit. So I guess that kind of concludes this part of it. We're going to go into taking your questions, and let me bring Matt back into here.
Oh, don't forget, Chris, I wanted to show a sneak peek of those containers too, if we get a chance.
Oh, let's do that now.
Shouldn't take too long.
Here, I'll draw.
Well, I wanted to. I know a lot of you guys are watching and hoping that we got something new for you here. I'm going to share screen real quick, show you some containers that we're working on. So give me a second here. To share my screen. Hopefully this is working. So, I don't know if this is working.
I see it.
You see it? Do you see the SDs right there?
Yeah, we're looking into infinity and beyond.
Oh, man.
Rippy.
Yeah, no, go ahead and nix,
it's hurting my head.
Nix that one. It's not working, so. Maybe I'll throw them up on Facebook later or something.
That'll be fine too. Yeah. So, questions. It looks like we've been getting quite a few questions here from both YouTube and Facebook. It's kind of the first time we're streaming to both social platforms at the same time. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. Someone's asking about any update on the SD70M arrivals. Anxious for the SP and the BNSF. Prime for grime units. Basically, our website is probably the best source for our delivery dates. That's kept super up to date over there, and we can look it up.
Sure.
And I'm going to loop everybody in on that. So we're going to head on over there and take a look for SD70Ms.
I think we saw some samples in the office not too long ago.
Okay.
But I could be thinking of something else because we see a lot of stuff go through there.
Right. It's still showing as late March. But, oh, these are for the ones that we just announced. My bad. No, we kind of passed March. Where did the time go? Okay, the SPs are coming in August, and that is the latest we have on that at the moment. So let's see what else we got here as far as questions.
Someone was asking if the strobes on the BN SD60Ms are going to work on the DCC ready units.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's Western Washington Rail Productions regarding the lighting of the strobes on the 60Ms, will they only be lit on sound equipped? So no, they will be operational on the DCC ready models. They will just be constantly lit whenever you apply track power, and then whenever you install a decoder of your choice, should you do that, you will be able to program them and get them to work the way you desire.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I saw another question that I wanted to answer real quick for this alley chat, which I believe is down in Australia. So we have updated the Tsunami 2 decoder, and the timing of the update to the manual did not match up with some of them. So I'm trying to find that information for you because it can work. So alley chat, in order to get the ditch lights to alternate with your press of the horn button, you need to change CV55 and CV56 to a value of 201 and a value of 203. The old CV51 and 52 or whatever it was will make the ground effect lights and the number boards alternate instead. We had a couple of updates to the decoder and just haven't gotten the manual updated at the same time, so hopefully that helps you.
And also, I forgot to put up our railfan screen. This is over in Galesburg, Illinois, right at this moment. So while we go through your questions, we can kind of wait for a train and see what else you guys are looking for as far as like answers and things.
Nathaniel Flores, will you likely be offering retrofit parts for the Genesis 2.0 features, such as the spinning bearing cap trucks, etc.? I believe the plan for the HTC truck is to offer that as a separate item. So look for that coming up soon.
Ben Matchett is asking for Grand Truck Western GP18s in the orange and blue scheme. Yeah, I could see those happening soon, especially on the next run.
Tony
Also,
Cook, will there be additional 75th anniversary items? Yes, there will be.
But wait, there's more.
Yep.
Space calendar.
The ACC.
Yeah.
SD70 ACCs. Oh, possibly.
Which one's that, man? Is that the rebuild SD70M?
The ACC is the rebuilt SD70 standard cab from Norfolk Southern.
Okay. Yeah, they got so many of those dang things now that I can't keep track. So.
Yeah, the ACCs for NS anyway are the 1800 series. They had the 2 yellow main units.
SAL GP18s, yeah. Next run.
Yeah, we're looking.
There's a lot of paint schemes that we can still do on those. We're only on the tip of the iceberg for those units right now.
So David Stewart asked, what kind of delays on new stuff are y'all expecting with everything going on? And honestly, other than possibly some delays at the ports, our factory is up and we're producing, and we have new models coming in. Janek's been checking deco samples and new production samples coming in. So just hold tight. Just keep up on the website. That'll be your source for the delivery dates moving forward. That is probably the best source.
Yeah, overall, we didn't really have much in the way of delays. I mean, other than the typical Chinese New Year. We luckily were not affected too bad by this whole global virus issue. But like Chris sort of mentioned, we're starting to run into shipping delays at the ports and such now. Yeah. So it's not at the factory level.
Yeah, that's to be expected. I mean, just want everybody to be safe, and we totally support that initiative and effort.
Yep.
So Sam CSX McCall, man, his middle name's CSX. That's pretty awesome.
I wonder what railroad he likes.
It couldn't be CSX.
Grand or something, yeah.
Any chance we see any more early CSX stuff made?
Yeah, he was showing some patch. They were ex-chassis system with CSX patches on some GT40-2s. Those would be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. The nice thing about the CSX too is just, there's so much cool variety within, a certain body style, just different paints. And Janek and I were kind of going over that earlier today, just with some freight cars. But there's some neat stuff kind of bubbling underneath the surface, and it's going to probably be coming a little sooner than you think, and it will definitely affect the early CSX era, among others.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, we're probably not going to get to all the questions right now, but we will go on.
Yeah, we're going to go on for like another 10 minutes and then call it quits. But thank you guys for commenting and asking questions. Matt Martin is asking for any chance for Santa Fe and BNSF GP39-2s with a square number board housing. So he must be thinking like the Frankenstein ones where the eyebrows are coming out.
Oh yeah, those are ugly.
Yeah,
but they're showing up more often. So I mean, if they keep putting them on there, we might decide to tool that up to make some of those modern versions.
Aren't those pretty much relegated to yard service and local service?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was like some RCL stuff, wasn't it, Janet?
Yeah, RCL and PTC.
Yeah, we'll look into that. To answer your question, we'll definitely consider that and look into it and see what we can do. Let's see here. We have just like a thrust of 5 different questions pop up here.
I'll go on Facebook later and reply to all you guys. Don't worry, but we won't.
Yeah, we'll attend to everybody's question. And if we missed you on the video, don't fret. We'll come back around and write you a little bit of a response.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Any DODX plans? Well, that's pretty open. I mean, DODX had a lot of different pieces of equipment, from locomotives to flat cars to box cars to tank cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would consider more DODX stuff.
More
Someone
Genesis.
Requesting a GP40-3. What do you guys think?
Is that Norfolk Southern that has those, I think?
CSX -3s are the square quote-unquote SpongeBob cab. Definitely worth looking into.
Yeah.
There's some other updates that we'd like to do to the Dash 2 line that we've got. So that would probably be a logical candidate to do at the same time.
Harry Wong, more Genesis F89F flat cars? Yep, you bet. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
It's like, no, never again.
They're coming.
Any plans to make a sound nickel plate road bay window caboose? Well, it depends on what caboose and if it's an ICC family member. If it is, we might be able to consider that.
Yeah, definitely anything based on the ICC general designs will go a long way towards being at the top of the list for a future announcement. If it was one of those home built type things, we'd have to look at it a lot more closely just to see what the possibility of it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we were able to integrate some FGE built cabooses in with ours just because they were so close to some of the ICC stuff. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
How about the Santa Cupola caboose in Genesis?
Which one was that, Chris?
It says, how about the Santa Cupola caboose in the Genesis line? I'm not sure if he means the Santa Fe Cupola caboose or if he means like the Christmas Santa Fe Cupola caboose, the Santa Claus one.
Well, I think we're doing both of those, right?
Well, we've got the Wide Vision CE 689.
yeah, Wide Vision. Yeah.
Different prototype.
He wants the CE1s and all the end cupola cabooses. Yeah. Yeah, those would be cool.
Yeah. The Chessie System C27 caboose is still on track for release in the upcoming months. Yes, Alex, they are still slated to deliver this summer is the plan still. And hopefully, we have just had some conversation with our factory last night, actually. We should be getting some updated samples before the production samples arrive, and we'll be able to share some of the updates that we've made to them before the production actually begins. So look forward to seeing some updated photos of those coming up soon, too.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
So also a suggestion from one of our customers is how about bumping up the GP40X into the Genesis line? And that, yes, that'd be something that we'd be interested in considering.
Hey, James, more SP 60-foot Harriman cars? What paint scheme? Because I think we've done like 3 or 4, so...
D&H MP513 asks for family lines SD40-2s. And yeah, we're looking at some family line stuff. So just be on the alert and be on the hunt.
P40s or P42s, huh? I think we got some coming this year, don't we?
Well, I think we were on track for 5 new locomotive announcements this year, and we've gotten up to 3. So there's 2 more coming.
No, we were on track for 6.
6?
Yeah, we were on track for 6. We've announced half of them. So
We're only halfway.
Oh wait, there's another one. Oh, you're right. It is 6. My bad.
Yeah. So as long as we got everything on schedule, which again, checking and speaking with the factory last night, everything sounds like we're still going to be able to hit those goals, and it's going to be some pretty exciting times this fall, let me tell you. And there's some pretty popular locomotives that have been requested that are going to be coming at you.
It's going to be hard to sit on your wallet through this year. There's going to be something that you're going to like, guaranteed.
Yeah.
James Wright is asking for some DDA 40Xs. It's something that we've been talking about,
Yeah.
looking at some DDAs. What do you think, Matt?
I think I like the idea. I've got a little Ogden over here on the shelf, so.
I know. Might have to clear out 2 more feet of space to put one locomotive.
Yeah, I know. Too bad the DDs and those turbines never saw each other, but hey, it's my railroad.
Yeah, that's right.
Do it your way, right? Yeah.
Well, guys, we got 1 more minute left for answering some questions here, and then we'll be signing off.
Dylan, why would anybody want to do an AC60 CW? Come on.
More power.
Andrew Horta, Dash 9s. It's a possibility. You never know. I mean, Roundhouse Dash 9s exist. We're always going to be doing Roundhouse Dash 9s, so who knows?
Yeah, we already make a Dash 9. So.
Amtrak Surfliner
cars. I would love to do some Surfliner cars. And
yeah,
I know Janek, I know you're up on it. And,
I bug Matt almost every day about it, and he's like, "Oh man, I don't know. I'll get around to it."
Yeah, you Californians are weird.
Yeah.
So any Helm GATX in the Genesis line for the GP38-2 or GP40-2 in the future. What do you think, Janek? You don't like Helm or leasers or anything like that, do you?
No, I hate it. Can't stand it.
Mind you, Janek is like one of the biggest rail fans for leasing equipment and kind of the tattered and torn and well worn type stuff.
I like it.
Yeah, it's something we'd absolutely consider.
I like it when I can run a train and people ask me, "What railroad is that?" I don't know.
Right. Well,
Yes.
everyone, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Any final words from you guys?
Not for me, not at this time. I mean, what I work with, we have to treat like Fight Club, so I got to let you guys sort of lead the conversations.
Well, if you guys aren't sick of us yet, we'll be back next week. And like I said, we'll try and get to all these questions. Thank you for all the suggestions. We do take them seriously. We do listen to you. So, but thanks for
really
watching.
appreciate it. To follow up what Janek's saying, really appreciate everybody taking time out of their day, dropping by, hanging out with us, and kind of going over some of our new things that we've been working on and some of the things we've just announced too. We will be doing this. I'd like to set this as a regular time. So just pending everybody's schedule kind of moving forward, you'll see a regular Train Tuesday broadcast at some point during the day. We'll jump on and say hello and do a similar sort of format, show off some new things, show what we're working on, and talk to you a little bit and take your questions and hopefully get some answers out for you. So without too much further ado, thanks again, everyone, for dropping by, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yep.
Take care.
Everybody stay home, stay safe, keep working on those models, and share us photos with your projects, all right?
Yes, please do.
Take care, guys. See you next time.